The great court of the stars was silent. 1,000 alien races sat in the round chamber, watching the center stage. High above them, a glowing orb floated, projecting the images of Earth's wars, disasters, and destruction. The air was cold. The mood was colder. In the center stood the last human delegation. 5 humans, bound in metal chains, stood tall. Their leader, an older man with silver hair and sharp eyes, said nothing. His name was Captain Elias Ward. He didn't flinch when the alien voices echoed around him. "This is the final judgment," said the Grand Speaker, a tall creature with 4 eyes and skin like black stone. "Humanity has been found guilty of violence, rebellion, and dishonor to the Galactic Council." Captain Ward's voice was calm. "We defended ourselves. You feared our strength, so you called it aggression." Murmurs spread through the chamber. Another alien, slim and insect-like, hissed, "You burned 10 worlds during the Androx War." Ward stared at him. "And how many of those did you burn first?" A sharp sound filled the air like thunder breaking. It came from the center of the council. The Grand Speaker raised one hand. "There will be no more words. The council has spoken. Humanity is to be exiled. You will be cast into the farthest reaches of space. Your planet will be stripped of status, your name erased." The humans said nothing, but in the back rows, a young alien named Relek watched. With wide eyes, he was a historian, fresh from the academy. He had studied the human wars, their inventions, their courage, and their cruelty. He felt something strange now. Pity or fear? Captain Ward turned one last time toward the watching crowd. "You may cast us out. You may erase our names from your records. But one day you will remember us. One day you will wish we never returned." The Grand Speaker gave the command, "Send them to the void." A great portal opened behind the humans, glowing white and blue. Without a word, they stepped inside. The chamber watched as the portal closed. And just like that, humanity was gone. Years passed, then decades, then centuries. The galaxy moved on. New species joined the council. Old wars ended. Trade grew. Peace, it seemed, had arrived at last. But whispers began to rise in the shadowy corners of space. Ships went missing in distant systems. Colonies reported strange signals, then went silent. A few survivors told impossible stories, ships without engines, moving faster than light. Beings with human-like faces but glowing eyes. Attacks that came in silence and vanished just as quickly. Relek, now older, still worked in the archives. He read the reports with growing worry. One day, a message arrived on his personal data terminal. It was short, untraceable. "You should have let us die. Now we've changed." He felt a chill. Back in the council chamber, the mood was uneasy. "They are just ghost stories," said a senior commander. "Pirates using old human tricks." But others were not so sure. Relek stood and spoke for the first time in years. "I was there. The day they were exiled. I remember what they said." The Grand Speaker, now a new leader from a younger race, looked at him with disinterest. "Do you believe they survived?" Relek nodded slowly. "I believe we made a mistake. Far beyond the known systems, past the edge of council maps, something massive moved through the dark dot. It had no name, no flag, but its metal skin was marked with one word, carved in fire. Earth. And inside, something ancient was waking. Something human, something more. The silence of deep space was perfect, until it wasn't. A small patrol ship drifted near the edge of the Orion Rift, far from any known colony. Inside, 2 alien officers sat at the controls. The older one, Commander Rex, was calm and focused. The younger, Cadet Yarrow, looked nervous. "We should not be here," Yarrow said. His eyes scanned the black screen. "This zone is marked restricted." Rex didn't look away from the window. "The council says it's nothing. Rumors, ghost stories." "But 5 ships vanished this month," Yarrow whispered. No wreckage. No signals, nothing. Suddenly, the ship lights flickered. A cold wind moved through the air, though there was no air current in space. The temperature dropped by 10 degrees in seconds. HRX stood. Scan again. Full spectrum, Yarrow did. His hand shook as he tapped. The console. No readings, he said. But wait, there's something ahead. Outside something moved. Slowly. Silently. It was a ship. No, not a ship. A shadow, massive. Blacker than the void itself. It didn't appear on radar. Number. Lights. No sound. Just the shape growing larger until it filled the view. Power up engines, Rex shouted, but the controls were dead. All systems locked. The lights shut off completely. Then came the sound. Not through the speakers. Inside their minds. A whisper. You forgot us. Both officers screamed. The ship was never seen again. In the capital of the Galactic Council, panic was rising. 37 ships lost in 2 months. No survivors. Only one symbol found. Burned into the metal of a broken satellite. A circle with 3 slashes. An old Earth military mark, but humans were gone, weren't they? Professor Relak, now a senior historian, stared at the symbol on his screen. His claws tapped the desk. He remembered it clearly. They said they would return, he murmured. His assistant, a young female named Keela, leaned forward. You think it's them? I know it is, but how? She asked. They were thrown into deep space. They had no worlds, no allies, no resources. Relak looked into her eyes. And that is why we should be afraid. Meanwhile, on the outer colony of Jiven 3, the Council sent a team to investigate. A full science vessel. 40 trained explorers. High security. They landed safely and entered the silent colony. Every building was intact. No signs of battle. But no people. Lights were on. Food was on plates. It was as if everyone had stood up and vanished. Lieutenant Sorrell, the team leader, walked into a classroom. A message was scratched into the blackboard. We learned from you. Now we are better. The team grew nervous. They tried to send a report back to base, but the signal failed. Power dropped. The ship's engines went cold. And then, in the distance, they saw them. Humans. At least. They looked like humans. Tall, armored in strange black suits. Their eyes glowed blue. Their movements were too fast, too silent. No words. No weapons. They just watched. Sorrell raised his rifle. Identify yourselves. The beings said nothing. Then the whispers began. Inside their minds. We remember what you did. The team fired, but when the smoke cleared, nothing was there. The figures had vanished. Only one of the 40 returned. He arrived weeks later in an escape pod, barely alive. He spoke only once before dying. They are not human anymore. Back at Council headquarters, Relak stood before the assembly. I told you this. Day would come, he said. We didn't just exile them, we created them. A voice in the crowd shouted, this is madness. But another stood. Then explained the symbol, the whispers, the disappearances. Relak nodded. They survived. Somehow, they changed, adapted. They went into the dark and became something new. The council fell into silence. Then the lights dimmed. A new message appeared on the main screen. No one could trace it. It was just sound. Achaea. Human voice. Old, tired, cold. This galaxy forgot. US, but we never forgot you. We are coming home. In the cold silence of Sector V9, an old satellite turned once every 6 hours. It had been forgotten by the Galactic Council, just a leftover from a war long past. But now something strange was happening. The satellite blinked. It was brief. A flicker of life after centuries of sleep. And then it started broadcasting. A single black signal. No image. No sound. Just a low humming frequency, deep and unnatural. It echoed into deep space. Dr. Ilin, a communication expert, sat in her lab on Aracor Prime. She had spent her life decoding signals from dying stars and black hole anomalies. But when the black signal reached her station, even she felt something was wrong. "This isn't natural," she whispered. Her assistant Varro leaned in. "Could it be a malfunction?" "No," Ilan said. "There's something inside the signal, a pattern." She ran it through the ancient human language translator. The machine stalled, then buzzed. "You should have let us die." Varro's face turned pale. "Is this human?" Ilan nodded. "Not just human. It's Earth Command code, military grade, very old. But humanity is gone." "Then who sent this?" Back in the council hall, panic returned. The signal was heard in over 200 systems. It passed through shields, through walls, through minds. Some claimed to hear whispers at night. Others said they dreamed of tall figures with glowing eyes and burned faces. Council demanded answers. Relak was called again. He stood before the leaders with tired eyes. "This is no accident. This is a warning." A counselor shouted, "Why would they send this now?" Relak's voice was heavy. "Because they are ready." Meanwhile, in the research base on Tryon 7, a team of scientists worked day and night to trace the signal's origin. Finally, they narrowed it down to a dead zone called the Hollow Verge, a place no one visited anymore. Commander Leva was chosen to lead a scouting team. Her ship, the Spearpoint, entered the Hollow Verge after 2 days of travel. As they approached, the signal grew louder. It wasn't just in the speakers now. It was inside their thoughts. "Feels like it's crawling in my brain," one pilot whispered. The navigation systems died. The stars disappeared. Outside, in the darkness, a shape appeared. Not a ship, not a planet. A structure. It looked like a city floating in space, but twisted and broken. Some parts glowed dim red. Others were covered in black metal and bone-like shapes. "It's not natural," Leva said. As they moved closer, a docking signal turned green. "Something wants us to land." Inside the structure, the air was heavy. The walls were covered in strange markings, half human, half alien. They found rooms filled with old Earth tech, fused with unknown machinery. In one chamber, a video screen activated by itself. A human appeared. Half of his face was metal. His voice was distorted, but clear. "You took everything from us. So we took everything from the void." The screen flickered. "You thought exile would kill us. But the dark taught us new ways to live." One of the soldiers asked, "Is this a threat?" The video continued. "We didn't come for revenge. We came for balance." Suddenly, the door behind them slammed shut. The lights went red. "We are the Reach now." Only one message returned. From the Spearpoint, sent seconds before total signal loss. They became something else. Not human, not machine, not alien. They became everything you fear. The ship and crew were never seen again. In the council's main chamber, the Grand Speaker's voice was shaking. "What do they want?" Relak closed his eyes. "They want to be remembered." The black signal stopped, but in its place, thousands of smaller signals began broadcasting across the galaxy. Each one began with the same phrase, "We are the Reach." It began with silence. The battle fleet of the Darnak Empire moved through Sector 18 as planned. 17 ships. Over 3,000 trained warriors. Their mission was to patrol the borders and monitor for pirate activity. Then, without warning, the fleet disappeared. No distress calls. No black box data. No debris. Only one escape pod returned. It drifted alone for days before being found by a cargo hauler. Inside was a single Darnak soldier, burned, bleeding, shaking. When medics opened the pod, he whispered only one thing before he died: "They're back." The council met in emergency session. Panic was spreading. Colonies were locking down. Trade routes were closing. The name on every tongue was now the same. Humans. The exiles. Gone for centuries. forgotten by most. But now, they were returning. On the rocky surface of Virex 4, a human warship crash-landed near a small alien village. The ship was silent, dark, and covered in black metal that shimmered like oil. The villagers were afraid, but they called for help. A small council scout team was sent to investigate. Commander Cell, a tall armored officer with green skin and 4 eyes, led the team. His group approached the crashed ship with weapons ready. "It looks dead," said one soldier. Cell nodded. "Stay alert. Scan for life." As they stepped closer, the back door of the ship creaked open. Smoke poured out. No sound. No movement. Just smoke. And a single mark burned into the ship's metal. It was a circle with 3 slashes the reach. One of the team whispered, "It's them, the humans." A quiet voice came from the smoke. "No, we are more than that now." Everyone froze. From the shadow stepped a figure, tall, armored, with glowing blue eyes and skin that looked human. But wrong. Commander Cell raised his weapon. "Identify yourself." The figure did not move. "I am what you left behind." "What is your purpose here?" Cell asked. The human smiled. "To remind you that we never forgot." Back in the council chamber, Relic stood in front of a large screen. A video played from the helmet cam of Cell's scout team. It showed the human figure speaking, walking calmly, even as council soldiers pointed weapons at him. Then came the twist. The human placed one hand on the ground. And the ship behind him disappeared. Not exploded. Not cloaked. It simply blinked out of existence. Like a light switched off. The video ended there. The chamber fell into silence. "They can move ships without engines," Relic said. "They control the void, time, possibly matter itself." A general shook his head. "That's impossible. Not if they became something else." In the village on Virex 4, strange things began to happen after the crash. Machines stopped working. The night sky above the village showed no stars, just black. People had dreams they didn't understand. Visions of burning earth, broken cities, and silent soldiers walking through space. And in the forest nearby, children said they saw shadows move, whispers in the wind. "We remember." Commander Cell tried to evacuate the villagers, but the transports would not start. The village priest, an old woman, came to him one night. "They are not here for revenge," she said softly. "They are here for balance." "What balance?" Cell asked. The woman looked up. "You judged them once. Now they judge you." 3 days later, every villager vanished. The scout team was found frozen in place. Eyes open, weapons still in hand. Not dead. Just a ... stopped. Cell was found outside the village, sitting on a rock, still breathing, but silent. On the wall of his command post was a message, burned into steel. "We were the exiled, now we are the storm." The council could no longer deny it. A new force was rising in the galaxy. It didn't speak with leaders. It didn't ask for talks. It didn't care for laws or borders. It only moved. And when it did, systems vanished. Armies fell silent. Technology failed. The Reach had returned. Not as humans, not as machines, but as something greater and far more terrifying. The prison walls were made of living stone built by the smartest minds in the galaxy. Inside, the lights never dimmed. No sounds passed through. No life could escape. Until now. A figure sat in the center of Cell 9. His skin was pale, scarred, with strange markings. His eyes were closed, but he wasn't sleeping. He just waited. 3 guards watched him from behind reinforced glass. One of them leaned toward the control panel. "Why is he so calm?" The guard asked. "He hasn't eaten in 2 days," another said. "No water, no movement. Maybe he's dead." Suddenly, the man opened his eyes. Bright, cold, human, but something else was there too, something unnatural. He smiled. The council had captured Him a week earlier. He had walked alone into an outpost on Geron 5. No weapons. No armor. Just a black suit that looked alive. He surrendered without a fight. Now he was in the most secure prison in the galaxy. Relek stood in the observation room, watching the footage. They say he took down a full squad with nothing but his voice, the warden said. His armor melted. Their weapons. Relek narrowed his eyes. What does he say? The warden shook his head. He says very little, only one thing. Over and over. What thing? The warden pressed a button. The audio played. I'm not the weapon. I'm just the warning. In the interrogation chamber, the humans sat with hands chained to the floor. A general entered the room, standing tall, ready to question him. My name is General Vacal. I represent the Galactic Council. State your identity. The human looked up slowly. You can call me Ash. What are you? A man, once. Where did you come from? Ash smiled again. From the place you threw us into. The general slammed his fist on the table. Tell me what your people want. Ash's voice was calm. We don't want war. Then why are your ships attacking? Ash tilted his head. Because you started it. You broke the balance. We are fixing it. You expect us to believe this is peace? I expect you to fear what's coming. The lights flickered. The walls shook slightly. Outside, alarms began to sound. Containment breach, a voice screamed over the speakers. General looked around. What's going on? Ash closed his eyes. It's not me. I told you, I'm not the weapon. In the lower levels of the prison, something moved. Not a ship, not a creature. It was an absence. The air itself vanished. Cameras failed. Doors opened without force. And from the dark, other humans stepped forward. But they were strange. Some had no faces. Others floated just above the ground. Their skins shimmered like glass. Their voices came like echoes. They didn't speak. They just walked toward Cell 9. Back in the chamber, General Vacal pulled out a plasma pistol and pointed it at Ash. Stop this. Call them off. Ash didn't move. I can't call what I don't control. You're lying. Ash stood. The chains fell off by themselves. Your weapons are useless. Your walls are weak. You don't understand what we became. What are you? The general demanded. Ash stepped forward. We are the Reach, but I am still just human, a broken piece of something greater. The wall behind him cracked. Then exploded. One of the faceless soldiers entered, moving like smoke. Ash turned. I'm ready. They vanished. Gone in seconds. The alarms stopped, and the entire prison shut down. No doors, no systems, no guards. Just silence. Later, the council gathered again. We lost the most secure facility, a voice said. To one man. No, Rilla corrected. He was never alone. He said he wasn't the weapon. Relek nodded slowly. Then, we should be afraid of what is. Across the stars, more messages began to appear, burned into steel, etched into walls. Balance will be restored. And in the black zones of space, strange signals pulsed. Not human. Not machine, something in between. Waiting, watching, ready. High above the glittering world of Zenaros Prime, the towers of the Arzadian Empire touched the sky. Ships flew in perfect lines. Streets were clean. Machines did all the work. The Arzadians believed they were the most advanced race in the galaxy. They had wealth. They had weapons. They had power. They also had pride. Too much of it. Chancellor Velker stood on his palace balcony, watching the stars. His long blue robes shimmered in the moonlight. Behind him, aides whispered news from across the galaxy about human sightings, strange signals, vanishing colonies. He waved a hand. My empire is safe, he said. Let others worry. The Arzadians fear no ghosts. But far beyond his perfect world, something moved in the dark. An object floated. Just outside the planet's defense grid. It was small, silent, black like coal. No one saw it arrive. No one knew it was there until it began to speak. "Sir," an officer called from the control tower. "There's a message coming through." Not from a ship, from something else. Velker raised an eyebrow. "Play it." The message played across every screen in the command center. It was not loud. Just one voice. "The proud will fall first." Then silence. Within minutes, systems began to fail. First, the outer satellites went dark. Then the shield generators collapsed. Lights across the capital city flickered. "No signs of attack," shouted one engineer. "It's like everything just died." Velker stood frozen. "Activate the planetary defenses. They're not responding." "All of them?" "Yes, Chancellor. Every weapon, every drone, every ship." He whispered, "Impossible." In the skies above, the moons of Zenaros began to break apart. Not explode. Shatter slowly, silently, as if something was pulling them apart piece by piece. People across the Empire looked up and screamed. Velker ran to his private shuttle. "Get me off this planet." But his ship didn't start. None did. Not one engine worked. No fuel burned. No power flowed. The entire Empire dead in the water. In the middle of the capital square, a figure appeared. It wasn't human. Not exactly. Tall, wrapped in a black cloak, its face hidden behind a silver mask. It walked through the streets alone. No one could stop it. Not soldiers. Not machines. It reached the steps of the palace. Velker looked down from a broken window. "Who are you?" he shouted. The figure looked up. "I am the consequence." "You can't be human," Velker said. The figure stepped forward. "No, we became more when you cast us out." Velker laughed nervously. "You want surrender? Fine, I'll kneel." The figure paused. "We don't want your kneeling. We want your silence." Velker froze. "Then what will happen to us?" The figure looked at the stars. "You will be remembered as the first to fall." That night, Zenaros Prime went completely dark. From orbit, the entire planet was black. No lights. No signals. Just silence. When scouts arrived a week later, they found no signs of life. The towers were still standing. The streets still clean, but the people gone. Vanished without trace. In the council chambers, the news caused chaos. "Our Zadian Empire is gone," one ambassador shouted. "They were our strongest power." Another said, "They never stood a chance. None of us will." Relek stood at the edge of the room, silent. A younger alien turned to him. "You studied the humans. What do we do now?" Relek replied softly, "Stop calling them human. Then what are they?" He looked into the distance. Judgment. Across the galaxy, more messages began to appear, simple words. Burned into ships, written in orbit, carved into moons. "This is not revenge. This is restoration. Prepare." The proud had fallen, and they would not be the last. The chamber was packed. Every seat in the Grand Council was filled. Leaders from over 200 alien worlds sat in silence. The mood was tense, heavy. Fear crawled across every face. The Reach had returned. Worlds were vanishing. Empires had fallen. Now the council called for peace, but it might be too late. Grand Speaker Thalo stood in the center. His long cloak shimmered under the lights. "This is not a war we can win," he said. "We must make contact. We must speak to them." Someone laughed bitterly from the side. "Speak to who?" asked General Crane, his voice sharp. "These are not humans. They are something else. Something we don't understand." Relek, now older, stepped forward. "I knew them when they were only human," he said. "And even then, we underestimated them." A murmur passed through the chamber. "Then what do we do?" asked the young ambassador. "Surrender?" Thalos nodded slowly. "If surrender saves our people, then yes." A message was sent. A call for peace. No answer came for 3 days. Then, on the fourth day, a reply arrived not through channels, but directly inside the council chamber. The lights dimmed. A strange energy filled the air. A figure appeared in the center. Not through a door or gate, but out of nothing. He wore a dark uniform. His face was pale but calm. His eyes glowed faintly blue. Everyone stood. The man spoke. "I am Envoy Ash. I speak for the Reach." Thalos stepped forward carefully. "We welcome you. We seek peace." Ash looked around slowly. "You want peace now?" "Yes," Thalos replied. "We wish to stop the conflict." Ash took a breath. "There is no conflict. There is only correction. You've destroyed entire worlds." Ash replied, "We removed what was built on broken promises." Thalos raised his voice. "We made mistakes in the past, but we can fix them together." Ash's eyes hardened. "You cannot fix what you erased." There was silence. Then Thalos asked the question everyone feared. "What do you want from us?" Ash replied quietly, "Give back what you took. Return the lost colonies. Return Earth's stolen technology. Return the truth." Crane shouted, "That tech was shared by Force." Ash turned his gaze toward the general. "Force was your language. We learned it well." Thalos stepped forward. "We will return what we can." "If that ends this," Ash interrupted. "You have 3 cycles to comply." Then he looked at Relek. "You remembered us." Relek nodded. "I never stopped." Ash stepped closer to him. "We know." Then, just like that, he vanished. No sound, no light. Just gone. After he left, the chamber broke into chaos. Some shouted to comply. Others screamed to fight. "General!" Crane drew his weapon and slammed it onto the table. "We do not surrender to ghosts." Thalos held up his hand. "We have no choice. The Reach is not an army. They are a force." Relek spoke calmly. "He gave us a chance. Do not waste it." But the vote was split. Some worlds agreed to Ash's terms. Others refused. That night, the stars above 4 council cities went dark. Then the cities followed. Vanished. No fire. No attack. Just silence. The next day, a second message came, burned into the wall of the council building. "You had your breath. Now it ends." Inside the chamber, Thalos called one final vote: return what was taken, or be erased. The result was clear. Too late. The lights in the chamber flickered. Relek looked up. "They're already here." Outside, a shadow passed over the council building. It wasn't a ship. It was too big. Too quiet. People ran. Systems failed. The most powerful structure in the galaxy collapsed without a sound. The last breath of the council faded with the wind. And above the wreckage, etched in fire across the sky, were 3 simple words: "We remember everything." No one expected the sky to split open, but that's exactly what happened. Above the burned remains of the Galactic Council's homeworld, a rift appeared. Not a ship, not a weapon. A scar across space deep, glowing, alive. From it, Earth returned. Not the Earth they remembered. This was different. Bigger. Stronger. Wounded, but not broken. And behind it, hundreds of ships followed. Not alien, human. They had been silent for so long. Now they returned together, one voice, one mission. Relek stood on the ruined ground, eyes wide. "They brought Earth with them," he whispered. No one replied. There was no one left to answer. In orbit, the new human fleet didn't fire a single shot. They moved through dead cities, burned planets, broken treaties. They collected what was theirs, what had been stolen long ago. Earth's machines, Earth's lost people, Earth's memory. A voice echoed across every channel in the galaxy. It wasn't a threat. It was a message. "We are not here to conquer. We are here to remind." On a shattered moon near the border worlds, a group of alien survivors watched. "They've changed," one said. Another shook his head. "No, we changed them." Relek was one of the last council survivors. He stood on the platform as a transport ship landed. A human stepped out. A woman, older, calm, dressed in black armor with the Earth emblem on her chest. "Relek," she said. He nodded. "You came back." She looked at the sky. "We never left. You just buried us." He stared at her. "Is this the end?" She shook her head. "No, this is the start." A second voice came from behind her. It was Envoy Ash, still quiet. Still. Glowing. He walked up to Relek. "You remembered," Ash said. Relek smiled faintly. "I believed." Ash looked around. "Then you'll help rebuild, but not your way. Our way." Relek paused. "What does that mean?" The woman answered, "We're not rebuilding a council. We're restoring balance, justice, memory." In the following weeks, Earth's ships moved across the galaxy, but they didn't attack. They repaired. They healed. They uncovered secrets buried under false stories. On every world they touched, a single symbol was left behind, a blue flame. Over black soil. Hope. One day, a new station was opened near the rift. It wasn't made of steel and glass, but grown from Earth's old forests, organic, living. It was called Haven, a place where humans and other species could speak freely, trade, live, mourn. Relek stood beside Ash and the woman. "This doesn't feel like revenge," he said. Ash looked into the stars. "That's because it isn't." A final message was sent out to every corner of space. From Earth. From the Forgotten Ones. "You feared us when we were weak. You hated us when we rose. But we never stopped believing. In ourselves, in each other. Now we don't want to rule you. We want to remind you what it means to feel, to lose, to stand again." One by one, planets lit up with a new light. Not war, not surrender, but respect. The galaxy finally understood what it had lost when it cast humanity out. And now, with Earth returned, nothing would ever be the same. Not because humans were stronger, but because they still had the power to forgive. The end.